All right, this is the preparation for ELPAC video on reading number 2. So, in front of you, you should have the 3 pages that consist of the reading and the 8 questions that follow. Your first inclination is going to be to freak out when you see all this reading. I know what you're going to do. The little lazy person inside of you is going to tell you, oh man, this is so boring. I don't want to do this. Both of those things may be true, but that doesn't change the fact that you still need to do good on this test. So you might as well buckle down and try your best. The main problem for most of you is going to be just staying focused long enough to be able to answer all the questions and finish the reading. And that's probably one of the things that this test is really checking for, is your ability to stay focused and your endurance level. So, review. What is the first thing you should do when you come across a new reading on the ELPAC? What is the very, very first thing that you should do? Read the questions. That is the very first thing you should do, is read the questions that are assigned to the passage. So this will give you a little guidance on what to look for as you do the reading, and this will also just give you the right frame of mind when you go through the reading and know what to look for. So let's go down to the questions. Now there are 8 questions here. Remember, you need to identify the ones that you can answer really probably without doing the reading, and then identify the ones that you actually really need to do the reading in order to answer. A point here. Some of you guys might just want to try to answer the questions without doing the reading. I do not suggest this. This will take you longer than it would to actually just do the reading. So just read it, get that done, all right, and then answer the questions, right? But first, the first thing we do is we look at the questions. So the first question is noted as number 3 here on the practice test. It says, which statement best states the main idea of the student's essay? There's always going to be a question like this. This is the one that you really need to make sure you read the passage in order to get right. All right, so that's the first one. So I definitely have to read for question 3. All right. Question 4 says, what do the words going through most nearly mean as they are used in paragraph 2? So this one, you're going to need to find the words going through in paragraph 2, but we can do that later, all right? So kind of just put that on the shelf for now. This one says, which sentence from the student's essay supports the idea that most teenagers are not currently getting the correct amount of sleep? So probably one that it would be better to have read the article in order to answer, to make sure that you know exactly what they're talking about. All right, so that's what we're going to be looking for there. They're talking about teenagers not currently getting the correct amount of sleep. So I'm kind of going to look for that as I do the reading. Main idea so far, and a sentence that talks about why, or that supports the idea that teenagers are not currently getting the correct amount of sleep. Number 6, it says, read this sentence from paragraph 2 of the student's essay. It has the sentence, then it says, choose the correct option to replace the underlined words. You can do this one probably on its own, so let's put that one up on the shelf. All right. So, 7, what word is the most effective replacement for the word things in paragraph 3? Well, another one that you have to go and look at paragraph 3 to kind of get the context of it. So that one just be aware of. That one can probably go up on the shelf as well. All right, but better to have read the article first. Question 8, what evidence does the student writer use to support the idea that teenagers have a biological need to sleep? So now it's asking for evidence. It's saying that teenagers have a biological need to sleep. All right, they really need to sleep as part of who they are. What evidence does the writer use? So we're going to be looking for that one. All right, so there's 3 things so far that we're looking for. Number 9 says, according to the student's essay, what is an external factor that can lead to sleeplessness in teenagers? So that's the 4th thing we're looking for. According to this essay, what is an external factor, something outside of their body, that leads to sleeplessness, why they can't sleep in teenagers? And then question 10 says, read this sentence from paragraph 5. And then what is the most effective way to combine the ideas in the underlined phrase? That one, put that one up on the shelf. You can do that one on its own. Okay? So there's 4 things we're looking for. Let's review them. And it would help you to write them down. So you can look for these as you do the reading, or maybe put a star next to them on your paper. So 4 things. First, the main idea of the essay. All right? Second one, a sentence that supports the idea that most teenagers are not currently getting the correct amount of sleep. Third thing we're looking for is evidence that the writer uses to support the idea that teenagers have a biological need to sleep. So something inside of them that says, dude, I need to sleep. And then the fourth thing is question 9, what is an external factor, something outside that leads to sleeplessness? So we're going to be looking for those 4 things as we do this read through. So hopefully you've written those down, you've started them, we're ready to do the initial read through now. So this says, a student has written an essay. The essay may include errors. Keep that in mind. This is not a perfect essay. Read the essay. Then answer numbers 3 through 10. All right. So this is the title of the essay. Should school start later? And then here's the essay. So I want you to go ahead and read the essay, which you should have in front of you. And if not, your teacher should have provided it to you by just Googling ELPAC practice test, and they can find it there. All right. So go ahead and read through it, and I want you to highlight those 4 things that we're kind of looking for. All right. Things talk about the main idea, support for reasons why students don't get enough sleep, and then something inside the body that causes students to need to sleep, and something on the outside of the body that is going to make them restless and not able to sleep. Let's go ahead and do that reading. So how was the reading? Were you able to get through it? I hope so, because if you were, your reading skills just got stronger. All right. So now let's look at those questions. The first question we're going to do is question number 3. All right. Which statement best states the main idea of the student's essay? I want you to go ahead and answer that question. All right. So the correct answer here is C. Teenagers should go to school later in the day. That's even kind of the title of the whole thing. Should school start later? So that's a good place to go to find the main idea, the title. Also, the first and last paragraphs, the intro and the conclusion. Best places to go to really find the main idea. The body paragraphs, or the ones in the middle, are evidences and reasons and supporting details. So this one, it was C. It wasn't A. School day should be shorter. Never talked about that, though it would be nice. It might help with sleep, but it wasn't that. Teenagers are learning how to manage their time well. Definitely wasn't that. And D, fewer courses should be offered in middle and high schools. That wasn't even mentioned. So it was all about starting the school day later so kids could sleep in. All right, let's go on to the next question. Remember, we're skipping 4 for now. We're going to go down to question 5. So go ahead and answer question 5. All right, we were looking for the sentence from the essay that best supports the idea that most teenagers are not currently getting the correct amount of sleep. So the answer for this one was B. It says only 15% of teenagers surveyed report getting at least 8 hours of sleep during the school week. You need 8 hours. Only 15% of teenagers said that they were getting 8 hours. All right. It wasn't A. Most of this research has shown that teenagers need at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. That's some good research. That's data, but doesn't talk about how teenagers are not getting that amount of sleep. It just says they need that amount of sleep. And it wasn't C. Students who lack adequate sleep tend to make more impulsive decisions and take more risks. Still may be true, not even mentioned in the essay. And D. Teenagers can lose sleep for a number of reasons. That's true, but that's also not evidence. All right. So we're looking for evidence or a sentence that supports the idea that most teenagers are not getting the current amount of sleep. So hopefully you got that one right. Let's go down to the next question. Question 8, skipping all the way down to 8. So go ahead and answer question 8. All right, so the correct answer for question 8 was B. All right, the question is, what evidence does the student writer use to support the idea that teenagers have a biological, bio means life and body, right, need to sleep? B says the internal body clocks of students change when they become teenagers. Right? It wasn't A, teenagers can have a busy social schedule that keeps them up late. That's social, a social need to sleep. That's not biological. It's not C, students have too much homework after school. It has nothing to do with biological. Or D, it wasn't teenagers like to watch TV or play games late into the evening. So for this one, you really need to have an understanding of what the word biological means, and that is tied into the internal body. So some of these questions, it's really going to challenge what you already know. And hopefully your ELD support class or your English class or literally any other class you're taking in school, especially science for this one, has prepared you for this test. So focusing in all classes will help you pass the ELPAC, not just your ELD or your support class. All right, let's go on to the last of the 4 questions that we were starting with, question 9. So go ahead and answer question 9. All right, the correct answer for question 9 is C, a home environment where parents and younger siblings do not need as much sleep. This one actually took me a second to find the right answer. So the question was, what is an external factor that can lead to sleeplessness in teenagers? So this word external is all in caps, and they're kind of giving you a hint here. If you go and look back at the reading, paragraph 5 here actually has the word external in it. Teenagers also face external forces. Then it lists a bunch of them. One of them is that parents and younger siblings need more or don't need as much sleep. So coming down to question 9, I identified that one. A home environment where parents and younger siblings do not need as much sleep. It's not A, difficulty concentrating on complex tasks and assignments, because that's internal. And external is something outside of them. Wasn't B, about their body clocks, because body clocks is internal. D is starting schools later. That's actually a solution to helping them get more sleep. So the correct answer for this one was C. All right, so right now, go ahead and answer the other 4 questions that are listed there. Answer them, and remember, a lot of them are taking one of the multiple choice questions or all of the multiple choice answers and substituting them in the sentence that it's asking you to replace it in. So remember, read through them, all sentences using all answers, and see which one sounds best to you. All right, so questions 4, 6, and 7, pretty much substituting one word in with the word they wanted you to replace. Hopefully you got them right. If not, work on your vocab and grammar. Question 10, though, that was the hardest one, I feel. You need the most effective way to combine the ideas in the underlined phrase. I want you to rewrite this in a better way, being more concise. Homework demands, sports practices and games, and jobs is really clunky. It doesn't sound good. So the best one here, the correct answer was B. The demands of homework, sports, and a job may keep teenagers out of the house. When you're looking for ways to combine ideas, you want to do it where if you said it out loud, it would be the easiest to say. Some of these other options were not easy to say out loud at all. So it is asking you for the most effective way to combine ideas. Say them out loud. And which one's easier to say? Which one makes the most sense? Or which ones do you understand the best? And that's probably going to be your correct answer. All right. So if you made it through this whole thing, good job. Super important in your preparation as you get ready to take the ELPAC.